process is nothing more than a series of exposures. And, those exposures can be anything. They can certainly, it starts out with the qualification, right? I mean, I'm hoping we all do. We all qualify our prospects. And what you should be thinking about and doing is creating a sales funnel, right? I mean, everybody needs to go into that funnel, right? And that's why we say make a list, of all the people that keep expanding on that list. Go to all the people that you spend money with in your town, whether it's a dry cleaner or a restaurant or whatever, and put them into the funnel. Because you know what, guys? We don't care what happens, in that funnel. I know that, if people go in, then I know that people are going to come out at the bottom of the funnel that are excited, that are interested, that are enthusiastic, that are, that see the big picture of where we're going with Valentis. Because you see, we have a challenge, we have a problem in this country, and we have it around the world, and that is people aren't making enough money. Amen? Right, yeah, people aren't making enough money. So, if you look at it, and you look at the statistics, $1.4 million over a lifetime, right? Average of $35,000 a year. Now, who can live on 35 grand? That's what I want to know. Who can live on $35,000 a year? I mean, it's almost impossible with everything that a person has to buy. So, that in itself is the reason that I'm working on this next little PowerPoint and presentation, is to really highlight the fact that, people have a challenge, people have a problem, and the problem is lack of money. And it's not their fault, it's not their fault. It's what they were taught, right? It's what they were taught. It's what they were taught in school. It's their business model, basically, that doesn't really work. They're trading time for money. So that model doesn't work very well. And, we have a solution, and you guys have got to be the flag carriers, right? You guys have got to be the people carrying the banner, letting people know that there is a solution out there. There is a way to get out of the situation that they're in. And it's a trap. I mean, trading time for money is a trap because, let's face it, your employer only pays you enough money so that you don't quit, and you only do enough work so that you don't get fired. So that's the give and take of having a job. I've never really had a job, so it's hard for me to kind of think about in those kind of parameters. I've always been either own my own business, and there again, everybody knows that they should work for themselves. They should own their own business. They know that that's where the money is. But what are their choices? Their choices are to buy a franchise. Okay, just belly up to the bar with $500,000 and start a franchise, or maybe more than that. Or they just don't think about network marketing as a business. And that's one of the things that I really want to start driving home is, making this an option, not starting a pizza place, not starting a garage, not starting this, not starting that, because you can start a global business with Valentis. And there's a lot of choices out there. There's a lot of network marketing companies. I mean, I think at last count there were over 3,000, network marketing companies. And, that's confusing for anybody. It's confusing for me, but let alone a brand new person. So, we're going to talk a lot about, these challenges that people have and how we have a solution for that. And really focus on helping people do some things. So, one of the things that us entrepreneurs and a brand new business owner has got to do is they've got to be accountable, right? They have to keep score, if you will, because there's nobody keeping score for them. And so I've created something called a scorecard that I'm going to get out to everybody. And it's a way for you to, and you can keep it online. You can look at it. It's in an Excel spreadsheet. And it's just a way for you to keep track of things and then look at things week by week. You know, how many people did I talk to about Valentis Slim Roast, right? The opportunity or the product. How many people did I talk to? And you can keep track of it day by day, and then week by week, and then month by month. And really, that's a great way to get you focused in on, you know, what you're doing right or what you're doing wrong. You know, how many people did I give a sample to? How many people did I sell a sample pack to? All of these little questions, all of these little scores that, you know, if a person keeps track of those, some will, some won't. But if you do, and you keep track of it, and you're, you know, you want to build the business, you know, and like John Horenza says, you know, until you're making $5,000 a month, you know, 100% of your time that you dedicate to Valentis should be spent on filling that funnel, right? Sponsoring, and filling that funnel with more and more and more prospects. I had somebody get a hold of me the other day, and they were very disappointed, very disappointed. They said, I just can't believe it. I sent out 10 samples to 10 people, and none of them called me back. And I go, well, okay, let me know how it works when you send out 100, right? You send out 100 and you follow up with them, and you follow the process of doing things correctly. And that again is, you know, one of the things that we're going to continue to talk about all the time is how do you do it correctly, right? You know, one of the things that I always do, and I suggest that you do it as well, is after you get a person qualified. And what do I mean by qualified? I mean that, hey, do you drink coffee? And now, if they say no, oh, good. I'm glad you don't drink coffee. Guess what? We've got a cocoa product. We've got a hot chocolate product that you're going to love. So I'm glad you don't drink coffee. In fact, I started prospecting some of my Mormon friends, and they were ecstatic, you know, especially the fat ones, right? So they said, yeah, man, you know, get me some of that hot cocoa. So I'm working on getting that done. So, hey, you know, do you drink coffee? Do you drink hot cocoa? Yeah, okay, I'll drink one of those, you know. And have you ever thought about losing any weight? Have you ever wanted to lose any weight? Do you know anybody that wants to lose any weight? I mean, you know, all of those questions, you know, framed up differently, depending upon who you're talking to, you know, that's part of the qualification process. And then, you know, if they say, hey, Chuck, why in the world are you asking me these stupid questions? Oh, I thought you'd never ask. Hey, the company that I'm with, Valentis, you ever heard of Valentis? No. Okay, great. I didn't think that you did. You know, they started marketing a weight loss coffee last June. I've been on it. I've been drinking it for the last 10 months. I lost 9 pounds the first week. I lost 18 pounds the first month, and I'm now down 40 pounds. I went from 215 to 175, but more importantly, the fat melted off. You know, can you believe it? The fat melted off my body. And I went from a 40-inch waist to a 33-inch waist. And I'm, you know, I do have not quite a six-pack, a 3.5-pack. But it's all melting off. And then I go, hey, you know what? If the coffee or the products work for you like they've worked for me, you're probably going to want to get to be part of our referral system. See, Valentis does something special. They pay us for spreading the word. In fact, they paid me over $70,000 in 2018 just because I spread the word to my friends about this incredible product. You know, now we just came out with the cocoa product just a week ago, right? So can't wait for you to try one or both. But and then, guys, what I do is I get them pre-enrolled. You know, I don't wait for them to do it themselves. I want to get them. I say, hey, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put you in our referral system, and You know, you're going to get an email from the company. You and I can talk about it later. And that's as simple as I just very, very lightly brush over that. And I put them in the system because all of us are building one team, right? We're building that team straight down in your power line. And guess what happens when you put in the second person? The first person you put in gets an email that says somebody just joined your team. And that always, always, beyond a shadow of a doubt, always creates a phone call. They go, hey man, somebody just joined my team. And I go, oh, good, congratulations. You know, you can make money off of that person. Really? Yeah, cool. Okay, we'll talk about that later. You know, and, you know, that again starts to get them in the loop. They start getting emails about the calls, and you just never know. I mean, I don't really push them to get on the calls, but they're being pushed by the company, by the letters that are going out. But when they get their samples, if I've mailed the samples, again, I always write on the envelope, call me as soon as you get this, put my phone number so they don't have to look it up. And I get a call, hey, I just got this sample, or I get a text, right? And with a picture, hey, I just got the samples. Good, great. Hey, let's jump on the phone together. You know, because what I want to do is I want to talk to them about how we're going to drink the coffee to get the best results. I want to ask them to do a couple of things for me. I want to make sure that they know how much they weigh, right? And I want to make sure that they drink it properly, right? I don't want to have them drink it with a stack of pancakes or as they're eating bagels and lox or whatever. I want it on an empty stomach, you know, first thing in the morning. And, you know, like I said, if somebody's as fat as I was, I have them drink 2 cups, right? If they're as fat as Mitch was, I have them drink 3 cups. So no, I'm just kidding. But if they're petite, then I take it easy with them a little bit. Let's start out with just 1 cup, right? And let's just do 1 cup and see how everything moves along. I always ask them to make sure that they are hydrated. They drink more water, you know, because of the fat metabolizing. And I tell them to keep track of the experience, right? You know, and maybe we can talk tonight or talk tomorrow. Because I want to know, hey, did it curb your appetite? What happened? You know, I want to know how their energy was. I want to know, you know, a few little details of everything. And, you know, beyond that, then it's time for me to start getting them engaged because they've heard about, they maybe have been on a call. Maybe I've had some time to take them through their pre-enrollment back office. I go, hey, have you been to that back office? You know, you've got a little back office. You can go and take a look at a bunch of things. You got the email with the link to get in there. So just go to Valentis.com, scroll down to where it says pre-enrollment member or pre-enrollment login, and stick in your email address and pop right in there and take a look around at everything. You know, look at all the products, look at the company, look at everything and read a little bit. So I get them just engaged a little bit. And, you know, now it's time to bring in the big guns, right? And I say bring in the big guns. I want to put that person on the phone. And again, that goes back to the scorecard, right? You know, how many 3-way calls have you done? For some reason, people are reluctant to do 3-way calls. And hey, I get it. I was reluctant as well. When I first got in the industry, I thought it was a burden. I thought I was being a pain in the butt, you know, to call somebody and have them help me. But that's what we do, guys. That's what Rick does. That's what John does. That's what I do. That's what Mitch does. That's what Lori does. That's what we all do, right? So, I mean, Ken and Lori have got a great story. I mean, Ken's lost 57 pounds. He was diabetic for 15 years on 5 medications. I mean, give me a break. You put somebody on the phone with him who may be pre-diabetic or diabetic or just looking to lose weight, and they go, and Ken goes, hey, I lost 57 pounds. I'm now off all my medication. My doctor can't believe it. And I'm a picture of health, you know? And so that's part of the process, right? That's part of the process. That's bringing that person these small exposures. And, you know, if there's a new product that comes out, I send them an email. If there's a video that comes out, I send them an email. If there's something that happens, I send them a text message. I stay constantly in touch with all of the people that I've got in that funnel. And, you know, and the easiest way to stay in touch with them is if they're in their contact manager. If you've got them in your contact manager, then you've got something visual right in your back office, and you know who's in that funnel. So continue to put people in the funnel. Don't quit putting people in the funnel, and take them through the process. And by all means, start doing more and more and more three-ways. I'm telling you, you know, getting and having people, other people hear somebody else's story. I mean, look, when I was I guess it was last February, March, April, Rick and I were goofing around doing some stuff, and I said, hey, man, I said, how's that Valentis thing going for you? He says, yeah, he said, I've been there, you know, be there 4 years here shortly, in July, be 4 years, and I made $1.4 million. Well, you know, that got me to thinking. Right? I sat back and I said, let's see, what have I been doing for the last 4 years? You know, how have I done for the last 4 years? And then I said, very nonchalantly, I said, tell me, what's been your best month? You know, he said, well, we get paid weekly and my check's been about $22,000 a week. I said, that's a good check. That'll keep the wolf away from the door, right? And, you know, so that's the kind of stories. You know, Rick doesn't need to lose any weight. He's probably got 6% body fat, but you can get him on the phone with me, you know, who was a fat guy, who's now not a fat guy, who's now starting to make money. You know, in fact, I made more money in March than most people, the average person, makes in a year. So that's a pretty good story. And I'm going to continue to do that. So, you know, guys, let's open it up. I've gone for about 20 minutes. If you've got any questions relative to anything about the process, or questions that you might have about, you know, your prospecting, by all means, why don't you unmute and come on in, and let's ask those questions and get things resolved. Anybody got any questions, comments, suggestions, ideas?
Hey, Chuck.
Hey there.
It's Greg. How you doing?
Good, buddy.
Hey, I just wanted to make a comment. You know, I've been on board for a while. I've got my my 45-year-old son involved in this, and he's involved in several programs with me until he finally said, I don't want to do MLM anymore. You know, didn't have a lot of success. And we just noticed tonight, I've been working with him tonight. He's sponsored about 6 people this month, and he's number 32 on the leader. So how about that?
Right.
Now that just says something for the company, not for him or for me, but the company, and the product is just working so well. He's lost a ton of weight. He looks like a different person. And here we go. You know, he's telling the story and making it happen. So we're pretty excited.
Telling the story and making it happen. That's exactly right. And, you know, that's all it's about.
Hand clapping.
Yeah. Yeah.
we say, Rick.
That's how it's done. That's how it's done.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah. Who else? Any successes? That was like a great win story, right? I love to hear win stories. So if you've got a win story and you've sponsored some people, by all means, come on in. But you know, we need to get those people involved, right? And you know, that's another section of the training about that TLC, right? That tender loving care, taking that new person by the hand and helping them, you know, point, guide, and direct them, and certainly getting them introduced to me, getting them introduced to Rick, so they feel like they're really part of the team and not just, you know, somebody that signed up for something. And, you know, so.
Yeah, I
That's-
mean, hey, Chuck,
Yeah.
what's exciting about that is, this gentleman brought in 6 people, right? You know, if you're only if you get all 6 of them on the phone with Chuck and myself, and we teach them that process of getting in for the 575 pack, buying their 60 cards, and then sending out 58 6-day experience packs, you've got 6 times 58 going out the door. And that's how you duplicate and build this business. And a lot of people are stopping at bringing somebody in and not working with their people. The key to this business is you've got to go 3 or 4 and 5 levels deep. And you as a leader, you need to be working with about 50 or 60 people at least and helping those leaders. So you need to get your son on the phone with Chuck, and Chuck needs to be introduced to these 6 people and share his story. I mean, the guy's making more in 1 month than people do all year long. It's crazy. It's not that hard. It's really just about, like Chuck says, follow the process and chase it deep. That's what it's about. So it's about those 3-way connects and getting them on board and getting your son introduced. 6 people is incredible.
Yeah.
You just take
Yeah.
those 6 and duplicate 6, 6, 6, 6, 6, or 3 of those 6 who get 3, who get 3, who get 3. And he could build a huge, $10,000, $20,000 a month income.
Right. Yeah. In no time. So, so guys, I mean, I don't know where everybody is in their business, right? But I know what everybody needs to do come Monday, right? And that is more funnel, right? More people in the funnel, more samples getting sent out, more 3-way phone calls, more introductions, more. It's just everything that we do. So I'm going to count on you guys to, teach that to everybody else. And if you've got people that are on your team that aren't really engaged, then you got to have a talk with them, right? I mean, everybody knows somebody. I mean, with this product and with this opportunity, I think you could send a dog out on the street with a note in its mouth and, create some activity. I think I'm going to try that. It's, we've got something, and I can't even emphasize enough to tell you how the 4 million, the 4 million we just did last month is the beginning of what you're going to see with this vertical growth. And I want to emphasize it and emphasize it and emphasize it until you guys finally grasp what I'm talking about, because the fish do jump in the boat, right? I mean, that was a great analogy that John made. Right now we're fishing, right? We're throwing our hook in the water and putting different bait on it and so on. Some of us are using a bigger net. And then soon, because of the product documentation and because of the stories of the money getting out there, people start flocking to the company, right? They flock to the company. Maybe they're a networker that went to Jeunesse, recently, and Jeunesse's run is over, right? They went through that run. And it went vertical, and a lot of people made a lot of money. A lot of other companies have gone through that vertical growth. And I'm telling you, you want to have as big a team as you possibly can when this whole thing starts going ballistic. And I'm telling you, we've got 8 months, if that. I think because of where we're at right now, April, right? And we start going into summer, which last summer wasn't slow at all. In fact, we kept growing every month through the summer. And I know we'll going to do that again. But then we run into Christmas and everything. But I'm telling you, 2020, is going to be a year that you're going to remember, and the volume will be off the chart, and your checks, you won't even believe it. I've been there, I've seen it, I've done it. I know what the signs look like. So I just want to encourage you to, pay heed to this warning, if you will, and, warning, it's going to happen, and it's going to happen with or without you. And I certainly would rather have it happen with you and you experience, those 20, 30, 40, $50,000 a month checks. I mean, my checks at, $40,000 a month right now, 10 grand a week, thereabouts. I plan to get it to 25,000 a week by the end of the year. 25,000 that was my goal originally. I can show you some old emails. I'll show you. I mean, I knew where I was going to be because I've seen this before. So all I've got to do is continue doing what I've been doing, and I'll be at Rick's income. Rick will be at John's income, and John will be, at an income, right? At a huge income. But I'm excited as I can possibly be for all of you. And I really applaud everything that's going on and the successes that everybody's having. So, hey guys, any final questions? Anything that anybody's got on their mind? Go ahead.
Yeah, my name is User Anson. I signed up, enrolled two of my daughters, one to Ruby, but the other one to the basic level.
Okay.
How can I upgrade her to the Ruby?
Yeah, okay, so you can't upgrade, you can't pay the difference, you just have to go into his back office and buy that package, and then that'll get him to the Ruby rank.
I see.
Okay, and if you've, I'm sure somebody, who's your sponsor, who's your upline?
Herman Samus.
Okay. Well, I mean, if you have any difficulty or anything, reach out to me, and I'll certainly help you.
Okay, thank you.
So
we'll help you, user.
Yeah.
Okay, Del will help.
Yeah, I will help you.
Del will help you.
Hi, Mr. Chuck. I have a comment.
Go ahead.
Yeah, thanks for that training today. Today we had an awesome meeting with Mitch, Del, and Silas at one of his churches, and that was awesome.
Good.
So that's a success. And then Nigeria, APEC is on fire. The guys are fired up. They are ready to rock and roll. The only challenge is the issue of registration of that country. And I know there's so much I can do with the Director of International Marketing. So if you and Rick can look into it with Mr. Dave, that will help us, because right now I'm just telling them to hush, and there's so much they can do.
Well, great, and yeah, I'm glad that IFIAC is here. He and I are old friends from another company, a company that Dave Jordan and I were both in, and I saw him put hundreds of people in the room and just light it up. So I have no doubt that he's going to do exactly the same thing again. So I'm excited for that growth to take place. So, guys, anything else? Rick, any final words?
Just follow the process. It's working.
Yeah, you feel it? You feeling better? You feeling better?
A little bit. My voice is still gone, but we went from 700,000 a month to 4 million in 8 months, guys. Following the process, the 6-day experience. That's what we did. If you're not doing the 6-day experience and you're not getting those packs out and you're not getting people on the phone with your incredible business partners, then you're not building a business. It's that simple.
Yeah. Yeah. Amen.
Just simple business. It really
Right.
is.
Yeah, I mean,
Chuck, I don't think, Chuck, I don't think your dog with a note in its mouth would get much business, okay? I think
yeah,
people
I was
would
thinking
run
about
from that
that.
dog.
I was thinking about that. Yeah, I'd have to have a little small
looks
puffy,
neat.
a little
Not
small
gonna work with a Doberman.
puffy dog. Right? Yeah.
You gotta get
Dale, I
yourself.
see that new truck you got.
Oh yeah, I know, right? I'm
Yeah.
excited about my new truck, courtesy of Valentes. Thank
Very,
you.
very, very cool. Very cool. Great. Hey guys, it's always the highlight of my week to spend at least a little bit of time with you guys on Sunday night, and so I'm going to continue working on that new message. I'm going to get that recorded. I'm going to get that out. And that'll be, again, something that you can continue to use, a YouTube video that you can continue to send out, because it's just, it's just, again, another exposure, right? And Mitch, any final words before we close it up?
Yeah, Chuck, this is Jack. Can you hear
Hey,
me?
Jack, how are you?
Oh, good. Hey, anybody had any success with the Ditto Touch?
Yeah, Lori's saying yes. Go ahead, Lori. Come on in. Unmute, yeah.
We've used it quite a bit, sent it in emails. Are you signed up for it?
Yes, I signed up because of the new reps, because I'm brand new. And it was $75 one time. And yeah, so I thought
Right.
it's worth $75 just to try it out.
Well, and Jack, and that's what I did initially. It was like nothing. It cost nothing,
Yeah.
hardly. And so I just haven't spent a lot of time there. There's so many other tools that we have. I mean, I tell people all the time that if money is an issue, then don't worry about it. If it's not an issue and you want to spend the $75 or $100 or whatever it is, go ahead and buy it. It'll I'm sure it will evolve just like everything evolves. And I heard there were some good presentations on there, new videos and everything, and I haven't looked, quite frankly. So I need to go over there and
Yeah,
spend
You can do a company like a Valentis presentation you can send an Optimum individual. There's several different individual ones you can send. Do you need some help walking through that?
I do. Would you be kind enough to do that?
I'd be happy to. I'm just going to be traveling the next couple of days because we're still out in California. We're headed back to South Carolina, but
I'm in California. That's where I am.
oh, okay. We're in Carlsbad right now.
Yeah, down south. Okay, I know right where it is.
Okay.
Nice area.
Yeah.
Hey, Chuck.
Yes, sir.
Hey, here's the thing. I don't have a problem with Ditto Touch. I've never used it. I don't need to. You just have to ask yourself a question. You can send out a video on your own through your own phone for free, and you can send an email too. I mean, it's, but the bottom line is you're still going to have to get that person a sample if you're leading with the weight loss. So to me, it's like an extra step that's unnecessary. You have to ask yourself, is somebody going to enroll automatically looking at a 5-minute video? Obviously, they're not, because you can't even pre-enroll people on a 5-minute video a lot of the times. Sometimes you can. But the bottom line is, if you send somebody a 6-day experience and you've picked up the phone and you've began that relationship and you've asked the important questions and you've sent them the 6-day experience, the video is not going to bring them into business. That 6-day experience and that sample, that first cup they have, is going to bring them in the business. And from that point on, you're going to follow up the first, third, and fifth day. If you want to use the Ditto Touch to kind of reach out to people, that's great. But what's more powerful, a video you're sending to people or your phone call and arranging and asking the right questions and getting that 6-day experience out? Because once they get that 6-day experience, they're going to make a decision, but they're not going to make a decision off videos or presentations from Ditto. Okay. That's just the bottom line for me. To me, it's just an extra step, but if you got the money and you like it and you want a hands-off kind of thing, just remember, This is a relationship business, and that ditto talk allows you to send out to people you don't know and everything. But at the same time, is it more effective to do that, or is it more effective to pick up the phone and start the relationship and
Well,
get the process going? You know, so it's
if you have a large social media database, then
yeah.
why not use it? Why not use it?
Yeah, absolutely. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about people are just talking to individuals in their lives. Most people don't have a large database. Now, if you
Yeah,
want
Jack and I are definitely sending samples out and sending just packages out. So
Yeah,
guys, and that's always what I do. Let me just, somebody asked today, how can you speed up the process, while somebody's waiting to get their package, their samples, and so on and so forth. I send them out, right? I just say, hey, if you got, I say, how many overweight coffee drinkers do you know? And people always go, I know several. Well, let's get them on the phone. Let's talk to them and let's get them a sample out. And I'll be more than happy to do that. So Jack's been making phone calls, getting people on the phone, and then he goes, here's one, here's another one, here's another one. And
hey, thanks, Chuck, for doing that too.
Yeah, and then he got his package, and so it's just a way to speed it up. So we've got 4 or 5 people in the process that'll all have their packages, or should all have their packages by the first of the week, and then we'll be following up with those people. So
Absolutely, yes, indeed.
yeah. Well, guys, anything else before we call it a night?
I'm excited.
Real good. I'm excited for you guys, and if anybody needs me, you know where I'm at. And I'll be in the office all week. So if I can help anybody do anything, by all means, reach out to me. So
Can the lady in that